Another day, another story. What I have come to understand from watching closely on social media and in real life of how QAnon works. The old paradigm of gaining political power and social influence was to present to the people what your goals and ideals were, and if they agreed then they would vote for you. However, when the algorithm was asked how to gain the same power, it came up with a novel answer, which was find out what different groupings hold most dear and fear, and say you are for or against that and thus gain their allegiance. Trump, after making it legal for religions to contribute to political enterprises, courted the evangelicals and soon he became associated with the Second Coming and the End of Days ideology. At one point there was even the possibility raised of adding another book to the Bible, the Book of Trump. Pence himself described the moving of the American embassy to Jerusalem from Tel Aviv as biblical. These were the end of days and Trump was paving the way for the return of Jesus. Christians took up this notion and forgetting how he had been with women, gave him their allegiance. Q weaponized Christianity in the US. There was an election promise to clear the swamp and expose deep state, powerful influencers behind government, who had their own agenda and were unaccountable. Q dropped endless clues about this and how it was going to happen. But nothing did. Why? Because Trump was part of it. Deep state refers to concentrations of power and influence that are beyond the political arena. These entities were massively supported by Trump policies throughout his tenure. He was their puppet. He refurbished the military-industrial complex, awarding them hundreds of billions of dollars of unaccountable state funds, in the name of making America great again. For big oil, he scrapped many agreements that prevented them from doing whatever they wanted to the environment, in pursuit of their extracting agendas. The list of his rollbacks to previously established environmental protections is staggering. Yet all along Q is presenting him as draining the swamp. There is no evidence of him doing this, in fact quite the opposite. But the patriots believed in what he said he would do, rather than what he was actually doing. Q kept telling them to buckle up, follow the plan, and that a storm was coming. Then they used the fear and loathing that people have of pedophilia, Satanism, cannibalism and black magic. Q dropped clues and directives claiming there was a huge web of these things happening, mainly within the Democratic Party. Many good people got behind Trump on this basis, but again nothing very much came from this. No tunnels full of children came to light as promised. Epstein Island was exposed, but Trump himself was a close friend. It was, in fact, Anonymous, the people's hackers, who exposed much of this stuff in #Opta theaters. QAnon tried to pretend it was them and the Trump regime, which it was not. Another grouping was all those who believed in the well-worn assertion that a new age was coming, bringing with it a great awakening. There would be peace and love and the bad people would be cast out, and a consciousness shift would occur. Q tapped into this and cleverly rebranded the Great Awakening as something that Trump was responsible for, and that the term referred not to a shift in consciousness but the effect of truths about things being exposed. If you knew what was really going on, the plan according to Q, then you were deemed awakened. Trump was then projected as a light being who was bringing in the Great Awakening. The fact that he was consistently lying, supporting the wishes of the swamp dwellers and causing untold division wherever his influence went, was ignored by the self-acclaimed light workers, who felt that at last what they had been dreaming of was happening. In fact, QAnon made it clear that anyone who spoke against Trump was part of a left-wing conspiracy to prevent his important God-ordained work, and the press itself was corrupt. This allowed canons to go into complete denial about anything that conflicted with the QAnon narrative. QAnon deliberately confused the line between coincidence and synchronicity, claiming that all manner of things were signs of predictions imminently becoming true. A coincidence is when things converge with no meaning, and synchronicity is when things converge with meaning. A power cut in Pakistan that happened at the same time as one in Vatican City was deemed to have great meaning, signifying the Pope had been arrested and indicted. The way Trump held his hands in interviews was deemed to be conveying secret messages. The words he used, the mistakes he made whilst speaking, were all deliberate and conveying important messages, and Q knew what they meant. As it all developed, the ideas that people started to entertain became more and more ridiculous. Although the believers did not see this, blinded by their own imagined brilliance, they lost the capacity for critical thinking and were then led to support and take part in a coup d'état. The payoff for adopting the QAnon perspective was that you got to believe yourself to be in the know, an elite that was party to the secret agenda. Fighting for the light, bringing in the new age and banishing the forces of darkness. You were the awakened when everyone else was sleeping. You were special, more spiritual, more intelligent, chosen. You got to not have to worry about the climate catastrophe because it was a hoax. QAnon is not a static conspiracy theory. Since it first emerged in 2017, it has continuously evolved, focusing on different key topics and adopting elements of other conspiracy theories. QAnon is without doubt an algorithmically inspired sect that preys upon the most tender aspects of the human psyche: love of God, the desire to serve God, love of country, the knowledge that something is wrong, the fervent hope of a new age dawning, the need for belonging, the need to feel special, and the sense that there must be more. May all who were duped get back on the path to awakening ASAP.